Snowwoke and the 7 genders, welcome to a brand new video. I have fantastic news. I thought the downfall was over, but in fact, she has reached a level of 400% cooked. Now, in the past, we have already covered the fact that Snowwoke over here bombed in the box office. She tanked the entire reputation of Disney, of live-action remakes, and why this is a good thing. Now, I don't only think it's a good thing because I like downfalls. I think it's a good thing for art in general that bad art gets blasted, all right? I think it's important to note that when the booty hole of bad art is stretched unconsensually, it will make a beautiful path, a tunnel, if you will, directly into the heart of good art. Now, I think this is important because downfalls, not only are they very fun, and if you like downfalls, you should definitely subscribe. That's basically my whole channel at this point. We love downfalls here on the Nuxanor channel. But, more importantly, this is a rare, wholesome downfall. Because I don't think people recognize how bad this has gotten. The son of the creator of the original Snow White came out and absolutely blasted Rachel Zegler yesterday. In other news, Rachel Zegler went to a movie theater to watch Snow White and talk to fans, but the theater was empty, which is the greatest thing in the universe, in the history of time. It's the greatest thing. That is literally the greatest thing of all time. And third, the next thing is they actually released how painful she was to actually work with. Disney released how they kept sending Disney people to her to get her to shut the frick up, and she just would not the shup fuck, as they say in French. So, anyway, guys, fantastic news. The downfall has reached a new zenith. Rachel Zegler will never, ever, she'll never get another role. I don't know who the fuck is hiring Rachel Zegler, but it's not gonna happen. Unless they're actually making something for people to hate watch. I think her career is legitimately cooked right now after the glorious amount of tea has been brewed. Now, let us the shup fuck forward and let's see exactly the bullshit that's happening. Now, it's important to note, this is the reason why Snow White flopped. Here's a 1-minute compilation of exactly why Disney lost allegedly almost $900 million on Snow White.
A narcissist. Original.
Yep, she's a narcissist. No one says it better than Rachel Zegler herself. Holy floor blitz. Dude, the inside scoop I have for you today is glorious.
Cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so.
Oh, so you hate the idea of adapting this? Then maybe get a job somewhere else. She's a very special type of bitch. I like some bitches. This one, not so much.
Okay.
There is a...
Okay, alright. Disney fucking executives shooting himself in the asshole listening to this shit. Dude. You're supposed to be adapting a movie that's beloved by people. Why would you go up there in front of reporters and say, dated, feminism, a wild retard hath appeared. There she is, hiding among the weeds. There, the wild retard makes her nest. Immediately after giving the position of a lifetime, acting as a Disney princess, a role that could carry her profession for years, she stares at the hunter and says, weird, weird.
Big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her.
Love story? What is this? A Disney princess movie? Yes, Rachel Zegler, it literally is. Well, this was very disappointing for her because she wanted to create a communist utopia.
Yeah. Weird, weird.
Weird, weird. That's my favorite quote of all time. I quote her all the time. She's so impressive. The wild retard coined the phrase herself.
And then it became like, I will elbow everyone out of the way to play the part.
So let me get this straight. You elbowed everyone out of the way to get the part of a character in a movie that you never liked and never really watched? Glorious retardception!
People will assume it's a love story just because, like, we cast a guy in the movie. Right. Andrew Burnap.
You think it's a love story just because there's a guy and a girl that kiss each other? What are you? What are you, fucking gay?
If Andrew scenes could get cut, who knows? It's Hollywood.
That's nice, that's nice. Cut the co-star, yeah.
I
say, if I'm gonna stand there 18 hours in a dress of an iconic Disney princess, I deserve to be paid for every hour that it is streamed.
Right, this sounds relatively reasonable. It doesn't. I'll show you the full context of this later.
And we absolutely wrote a Snow White that is
not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be.
Now, the irony is the entire plot of the new Snow White movie after it came out is that the kingdom was run really fucking well under a king, all right? There was this dude that was running this fucking country, and everyone was living at peace and harmony. The king did a fantastic job. And then you know what happens? The evil woman shows up and kicks him out of his kingdom, and everything goes to shit with the woman leader. So another woman leader needs to show up. God, you can't even make this up. That was literally the plot of the movie. It was a great monarchy. Everyone loved the king. Everything was great. And then a woman took power. But anyway, I wanted to show you that little cute thing because this is probably the saddest, lamest fucking thing of all time. So this is Rachel Zegler that she posted herself on Instagram. She went to the movies to meet fans and watch her own Snow White and see herself in the credits. All right, dude, this is the funniest thing in the world. Definitely lock in. All right, if you're not subscribed, you're missing out on content like this. So she sits down in the theater, she watches the whole movie. She's doing this to meet fans. There she is cheering. She sees her name in the credits. What a glorious time. She cried the whole time. This is amazing. And she turns to look at herself. Look at her, all happy, in a completely empty movie theater. Guys, I told you God has a sense of humor. He's invented creatures like this for us to point and laugh at. See, on the Nuxanor channel, we tend to take care of retards. We look for them not only to laugh at them, but also to nourish them. Dude, the whole fucking, it's all empty. She brought flowers for herself. She brought her own flowers to a completely empty theater. And then her jaw unhinges and she laughs. How incredible is that? How amazing is that? She goes to meet fans. There are no fans because no one was by the theater. She walked in. She watched the whole movie. She filmed the credits. And then she posted this. Oh, in a completely empty theater. That's incredible. Glorious levels of narcissism. Holy crap. How are you not humiliated to do this? Yeah, she just thinks of herself as a higher level creature than most others. People don't recognize the fact that she thinks she is better. Anyway, some hot take posts that she's made in the past that I decided to pull up. Here is a quote, "Fuck Donald Trump." Hell yeah. Nothing like Rachel Zegler, she, her, hers to start spitting facts at. Bro, she has less than 400,000 followers. Oh my God. She's irrelevant. No one fucking likes her. Oh no. Now, anyway, in case you wanted some hot new tea, the son of Snow White producer Mark Platt absolutely unleashes on Rachel Zegler for ruining his father's movie. Jonah Platt is ripping the 23-year-old actress for getting political and ruining Snow White. The comment from Platt found on Instagram after one user asked why his dad flew to New York City to talk to Zegler about tanking the movie. I will have more information on that later. Platt specifically blamed Zegler and her narcissism on the film's flop. So even though the leftoids are blaming this right now on, it was all because Gal Gadot is Israeli. That's why they're boycotting the movie. Instead of that fucking bullshit, which is obviously a lie, Disney themselves is blaming her. Tens of thousands of people worked on the film. She hijacked the conversation because of her immature desires to risk all of her colleagues and crew and blue-collar workers who depend on that movie to be successful. Narcissism is not something to be coddled or encouraged. So this is a clip of her, and then I'm going to show you the comment that the actual son of the producer posted.
To everyone who hates when I win.
Well, I mean, I don't know anyone that hates when you win because no one's ever seen you win. So I don't mean to be rude. I don't want to be not nice or anything. I'm trying to be inclusive here. I've never seen you win. So I wouldn't know anyone that hates when you do.
The winged victory came to the Louvre in pieces, and people still line up to see her.
Yeah, but like it's definitely like a good analogy if people would line up to watch her movies, but no one watched her movies. I don't know if she's aware that her movie is the biggest flop in the history of Disney. So congrats.
And I can only hope that despite my flaws and despite my cracks and my breaks, and there are many of them.
No! A woman crying at me. What will I ever do? I am completely in shambles. Maybe I should stop criticizing her. Oh, wait! Don't worry. We're getting to the Gina Carano part of this video where you are going to be completely done with this shit.
That at every premiere and everything I do,
they canceled the premiere, by the way, because of her.
People will wait in line to see.
No one waited in line. In fact, the theaters are empty. I've never seen so much empty in movie theaters ever. Yeah, better acting in this than in Snow White, so that's pretty impressive. Hell yeah, dude. I love that she's out there trying to just cry at you in order to make you feel bad for her. I don't actually feel bad for her at all. I think that she is what they call fuck around, find out, as Gandhi once said. So anyway, your dad flew to New York City to reprimand a young actress. Any words on this? That's creepy and uncalled for. That's what they're saying to Jonah Platt, the son of the producer of Snow White, that, Snow White, that he went to yell at her. You really want to do this? Yeah. My dad, the producer of an enormous piece of Disney IP with hundreds of millions of dollars on the line, had to leave his family to fly across the country to reprimand his 20-year-old employee for dragging her personal politics into the middle of promoting the movie, for which she signed a multi-million-dollar contract to get paid and do publicly for. This is called adult responsibility and accountability, and her actions clearly hurt the film's box office. Free speech does not mean you're allowed to say whatever you want in your private employment without repercussions. Tens of thousands of people worked on that film, and she hijacked the conversation for her own immature desires at the risk of all the colleagues, and crew, and blue-collar workers who depend on that movie to be successful. Narcissism is not something to be coddled or encouraged. Guys, he cooked her. He destroyed her. This is the son of the producer of Snow White directly shitting on her. Holy crap, bro. Destroyed her. She's Jove. No one will ever want to work with her ever again. Literally. This is crazy. I wanted to show you this. This is funny. Rachel Zegler's Snow White is officially the worst movie of all time on IMDb. Dude, I said that she doesn't win, but it's not true. She does win. This is a record-breaking 1.7 out of 10 on IMDb. That's honestly kind of impressive. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. That's actually kind of impressive. Like, I don't know how you did it. That's pretty cool. But she really ended her career with this one. It's actually insane. So I wanted to show you that because every time it drops by 0.1, they literally all report it. It's like, congratulations. Now it's down to 1.6. Congratulations. It lost to Dragon Ball Evolution, which is 2.5. Like, people don't realize how insane this is. Oh my god, it's impressive. It's an impressive downfall. Now, I wanted to show you this entire clip before because I think it's important for you to know. Rachel Zegler's base pay for Snow White was $1 million. It is rumored to now have approached $3 million. She probably made $3 million working on Snow White. So here she is in a protest to virtue signal.
If I'm going to stand there 18 hours in a dress of an iconic Disney princess, I deserve to be paid for every hour that it is streamed on.
This is a vindictive bitch move. She is out here protesting the rights of workers and people getting more money when they work. When this fucking bitch out here made $3 million on Snow White, and she is sitting there talking about how she also wants more money for every time someone streams Snow White. Meaning, she wants a cut of Disney Plus revenue for the people that watch Snow White on Disney Plus. Now, she doesn't really need to worry about it, to be honest. I don't think anyone's going to be watching Snow White on Disney Plus. But that's what she's arguing for. She's arguing for more money on top of her $3 million while making believe she is complaining on behalf of the poor, impoverished workers being squashed underfoot in Hollywood. Bitch, I mean no disrespect when I say this, but you're retarded. Okay, you make $3 million. You're 23 years old. Can you stop, please? Like, enough of this bullshit. Oh my god. Like, stop whining and crying about your fucking politics. Snow White 2026. I just wanted to look into this. I thought it's gonna be crazy. The next Snow White adaptation is gonna be even better. I pulled this one up because this is 67,000 likes. Oh, not the Miss Sharia swimsuit competition that's gonna go crazy. Mirror, mirror on the wall. Yeah, anyway, no one saw this one coming. That was definitely a twist. I just wanted to show you some viral posts. Before I get to the article where I show you this, there's also a giant protest of dwarfs. Dwarfs are going out protesting Snow White. Because they literally found a way to upset everyone. Snow White in the 72 versions. Fuck, dude. Oh my god. That's crazy. Holy shit. Oh god. So anyway.
Seems like nowadays you can protest about just about anything. Well, why don't I begin a protest about the fact that Disney decided to use CGI dwarfs? Not even the real thing. We could have gotten hired. We could have gotten money for something. But no, they're so ashamed.
Dude, the dwarves are out there protesting. What is going on? Oh my god, Middle Earth is going crazy.
CGI dwarfs, they don't even have it on the first flyer. Well, it's time to make a movement.
Now you
He stands in the theater!
wash the dishes.
Bro is in the theater!
You
Nah, dude. That's crazy. Holy shit. Oh my god, all those... Oh, that's amazing. Anyway, I love that. I love that personally. Hell yeah, dude. Imagine making a movie with a character in a wheelchair and getting a CGI creature to portray them. Dude, next X-Men, Xavier is gonna be just a CGI abomination. All right, so here's another thing people were noticing. You know, Rachel Zegler's been getting a lot of hate, and people were wondering if the hate actually got to her. But the good news is, the crash out is so much worse than you think. Look at her kind of wild body language. I'm no body language analyst, but when someone starts moving around like the Titans from Attack on Titan, you know some shit's weird. What's she doing? What's she doing? Yeah, this is someone where the stress definitely didn't get to her. Yep, she's definitely handling this very well. Like, oh my god, that's honestly terrifying. She's rolling. She's crazy. Fuck, hell yeah, dude. It's an abnormal Titan. Now, I wanted to show you this little clip. So first of all, this over here is my pitch for the next Snow White, Ebony Black and the 7 motherfuckers. I think that'll be fire. But anyway, this is more important because as you can see, the wokeness is not done yet. You see, this takes place in 16th century Germany. That's when Snow White takes place. Now, you'll notice something interesting about 16th century Germany. Wow. I'll just mute that for copyright reasons. You'll just notice the very odd amounts of different racial diversity in 16th century Germany. I'm pretty sure 16th century Germany didn't look at all like this. While the fucking the socialist movement picks up and all the fucking homogenous DEI hires show up in the background. It is me, Rachel Zegler, and these are my pronouns. Look at her showing up with the whole town of a racially diverse, ambiguous group of people in 16th century Germany. Hell yeah, dude. That's what we're here for sure, for real. But there are so many more. Like, dude, the memes are going bonkers. Snow White and the evil queen who is jealous of her looks. Very real, very true. Very true and real. Yep, 100%. Facts, literally. So, everyone remembers, I've already showed you where she said fuck you to Donald Trump once. She, in fact, said fuck you to Donald Trump more than once. I think it's just important to recognize the person we're dealing with here. The fuck you at real Donald Trump. Yep, I'm a nasty, nasty bitch. Well, I agree with some of that sentiment. Remember, she also said she doesn't want Trump supporters to ever know peace. She also had an insane amount of wild tweets. Actually, I think the new Hawkeye should be a trans woman of color to stick it to the racist, sexist, transphobic garbage monster. Disney must be so proud. When you start looking at her old tweets, you recognize that she is like this wildly mega woke, brain rotted fucking garbage monster herself. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. Holy crap. Now, anyway, there's an entire movement on Twitter right now because, of course, as a fan of finding retards myself, I had to show you this. So, this is a movement, me liking every tweet supporting Rachel Zegler, 90,000 likes. People out there going and trying their hardest to support Rachel Zegler because she's standing up for the right causes to virtue signal about. And because she stands for the right causes, everyone on Twitter needs to come together and show her approval. Now, the irony is, none of these people watch the fucking movie. No one wants to spend $20 going to the theater. No one wants to spend 2.5 hours watching absolute dog shit. So everyone's coming out here, putting their money where their mouth is, or the opposite of that. Coming out there, making their tweets, supporting her because of something or whatever. But they don't actually even, none of them watch the movie, or else the movie, like, they're trying to make it look like artificially she's popular, but the movie was like a massive fucking failure. A literally massive, undisputed failure. Now, Variety made an article after Rachel Zegler hit the stage at Disney, the fan event, to introduce the first official trailer of Snow White. She thanked supporters effusively on the X post, and 1 minute later she added in an afterthought in the same thread, and always remember, free Palestine. Many inside the studio expressed shock that the Snow White star would commingle the promotion of its $270 million tentpole with any kind of political statement. A Disney executive raised the studio's concerns with Zegler's team when the film's producer Mark Platt flew to New York to speak directly with her, but Zegler stood her ground and the post remained up. Now, I wanted to show you this article and all the millions of advertisements on this fucking page of this article because I think it paints an exact picture of how vicious and evil this bitch is. Truly Harry Potter and the audacity of this bitch. So, inside Disney's Snow White fiasco, death threats, beefed up security, and a social media guru for Rachel Zegler. Because this shows you some unbelievable bullshit. On August 12th, 2024, 3 days after Rachel Zegler hit the stage at Disney's D23 fan event to introduce the first official trailer of Snow White, and, you know, she did her whole weird, and it made that whole discussion, that insane whole massive discussion about how, you know, it's not 1937 anymore. The princess isn't going to get saved by some guy. Despicable. She thanked supporters effusively in an X post for driving the teaser to 120 million views in 24 hours, which, by the way, that was hate watching. Everyone was watching the teaser shitting on it. I don't think she realizes that the teaser for Snow White is one of the most disliked fucking videos on all of YouTube. Literally one of the most disliked videos on the platform. All right, so 1 minute later, she added an afterthought in the same thread and said, and always remember, free Palestine. Hell yeah. Nothing like 20-year-old activist actress Rachel Zegler to speak about political issues that are controversial. Hell yeah. That's definitely something fantastic. Pay no attention to the advertisements, bro. I don't know why this fucking Hero Wars shit is everywhere, and the game is never like what they actually show on the ad. But anyway, the point is, they did this crazy addendum, all right? That this always remember free Palestine, attaching very controversial political shit to this giant Disney movie. Whether you like it or not, it is irrelevant and should absolutely not be added to a movie where they're paying you $3 million to not fuck with the movie. That addendum, which amassed 8.8 million views, nearly 4 times the number for the initial post, quickly made the rounds, with many inside the studio expressing shock that the Snow White star would commingle the production of its 270 million tentpole, which, by the way, apparently is a lot more than 270 million right now. Like, dude, a lot more than $270 million was spent on that movie. This was before all the reshoots, with any kind of political statement. Now, what Disney ended up needing to do, a Disney executive raised the studio's concerns with Ziegler's team while the film producer Mark Platt flew specially to New York to speak directly with her. But the actress, whose relationship with the studio began to unravel in 2022 during a contentious West Side Story Awards seasonal campaign, right? This was a totally other, different, insane amount of drama that she had in a complete other special segment, right? You gotta realize, she literally had drama with the studio for another reason entirely. And during that award season campaign, she continued, she trashed the beloved original Snow White. She stood her ground. The post remained behind the scenes. Look at this shit. Death threats towards Ziegler's co-star Gal Gadot, who is Israeli, spiked, and Disney had to pay for additional security for the mother of 4. So you gotta recognize the fact that right now she makes this post knowing that her co-star is Israeli, literally knowing that it's causing an insane amount of death threats going against Gal Gadot, okay? The Israeli co-star. And she didn't care. She didn't care. She never said don't send death threats. She never said anything. Not only did they have to fly in people from Disney to yell at her for being a piece of shit, all right? Literally yelling at her for being a piece of shit and bombing the movie. They also had to pay for additional security for the endless amount of death threats being sent to her co-star that she borderline co-signed. She didn't even say anything to denounce death threats or anything, which is unbelievable. Now, she didn't understand the repercussions of her actions as far as what that meant for the film, for Gal, or for anyone, says one insider. This is clearly and obviously someone that is a complete sociopath that did not give a single fuck about how her actions affected anyone around her, how it affected the movie, how it affected her friends, how it affected literally anyone. It is unbelievable. Unbelievable narcissism. 3 months later, because she can't stop, following the presidential election, Zegler posted, "Fuck Donald Trump," and "May Trump supporters never know peace." Dude, the fact that this is the actual Disney insiders talking about this is insane. Insanity. Holy shit. Disney had enough, given that the star was signaling to half the potential audience of an already troubled film plagued by costly reshoots to stay home. Platt made the case again to Zegler. Again, he flew to New York. Again, he went to actually meet her in public to talk to her personally. After back and forth, she began working with a social media guru paid by Disney to vet any post before March 21. Bro, they had to treat her like a fucking child. Like an unbelievable fucking baby. How pathetic is this dude? How unbelievably pathetic is this? So not only Does she do the whole fuck Donald Trump, may Trump supporters never know peace? If you're a Trump supporter, don't watch my show, which is not what anyone making a show ever wants to hear. But they needed to hire someone literally to vet every single shit that she said. It was all vetted because they couldn't trust her to even tweet. How insane is this? So again, I just like this a lot because we all know that Snow White was a colossal failure. I like the fact that Disney directly blamed Zegler. Disney declined comment. Zegler did not respond to a request for comment. But now that the film's dismal opening weekend, 87 million worldwide, yikes, is in the rearview mirror, Burbank brass are evaluating what went wrong. To put Snow White's global box office haul into perspective, it's about 34 million less than Warner Brothers' Joker Folie Deux, which was a failure. Remember, that movie was a catastrophic failure. And Snow White also had a bigger budget by around $70 million. Dude, this is an unbelievable failure, and it is glorious. Holy shit. You can't say that a live-action remake of the most iconic film in the vault that cost $270 million and has been reshot multiple times, opening to $50 million is okay. The math does not work. The movie should have been $1 billion movie. Oh, we take these downfalls every day. Said an executive at a rival studio when the film was tracking for 45 to 55 million domestic opening, and it ended up with low. They said even after the failure, they tracked it at 45 to 55, and it ended up with 43. Oh my god, dude, that's insanity. Anyway, the Disney-Zegler standoffs underscore the challenge Hollywood studios face as they attempt to rein in stars who court controversy on social media. For her part, Gadot kept her comments on geopolitics limited to offering support for civilian hostages taken during the October 7th Hamas attack, and Dowd did not mix that message with the promotion for the film. You know, like any professional, normal human would do. Zegler had already strained nerves at both the studio and Steven Spielberg's Amblin partners when she complained on social media that she wasn't invited to 2022 Oscars as the star of Best Picture nominee West Side Story, a film distributed by Disney. Oh my god, she has just like an unbelievable history of just complaining and bitchiness. Like, this is what happens when you give unlimited money and fame to just a virtue signaling little bitch. It's unbelievable. Sources say that she'd just begun production on Snow White in London, and Sean Bailey, then president of Walt Disney Studios Motion Picture Production, declined to cut her loose for the telecast. After Zegler aired her grievances publicly, the Academy provided her with a ticket even though she wasn't nominated. They still gave it to her. They still gave her the ticket because she bitched online. She's never getting another job. I don't think she realizes this is like an actual downfall. We are witnessing an actual downfall. Months later, once again, she criticized the original 1937 Snow White, noting that the prince literally stalks the heroine. One agent says that the moment that Disney allowed Zegler to control the narrative, the first time she shoots her mouth off, you nip it in the bud. Instead, the studio said nothing, and purists began to revolt. And as time went on, Disney became increasingly loath to weigh in on anyone's speech, considering that the studio was sued in 2024 by actress Gina Carano, who claims she was fired by The Mandalorian for voicing her opinions on hot-button issues. Don't worry, guys. We're about to cover that. We are about to cover that exact thing. That's the other reason why I wanted to read this article with you guys, because I think it's important to recognize the hypocrisy at woke Disney and how their downfall is literally paving the way to a glorious new revolution. They say all press is good press, but in Snow White's case, they were unabashedly wrong, says the box office analyst Jeff Block, who too many negative controversies surrounded the film for years, and it didn't help that the reviews were also subpar, likely rendering this latest live-action adventure to D+ for many potential ticket buyers. A possible saving grace? A feeble marketplace where Snow White could stay a while, as many family films have, despite the lackluster debut. It was a massive failure. Anyway, then they list a lot of other problems like, random COVID issues, shit like that. They canceled the premiere. But the thing that is important to say here is Rachel Zegler has been beefing with Disney for a long time. Now, I want to introduce another character into this story called Gina Carano. Gina Carano made this post on Instagram, which was pretty controversial, I guess, where she said, Jews were beaten in the streets, not by Nazi soldiers, but by their neighbors, even by children. Because history is edited, most people today don't realize that to get to the point where Nazi soldiers could easily round up thousands of Jews, the government first made their own neighbors hate them for simply being Jews. How is that any different from hating someone for their political views? This is a statement basically trying to say, again, I don't think it was a good statement, but the statement is trying to say, stop breeding hatred for people just purely based on superficial parts of themselves, right? Don't hate Republicans just because they're Trump supporters, or don't hate Democrats just because they're libtards, right? She's saying you got to treat people like people and not only just start building up, especially in the media. The way the media was flaming Trump supporters and saying, if you vote for Trump, you're a Nazi and you hate women and you're evil. And, you know, Rachel Zegler didn't help. Right? She said, you know, fuck Trump, respect women today and every day, may Trump voters never know peace. And Gina Carano made a post like this, which I do think was heavy-handed a little bit. Comparing the media to Nazi Germany is a little extreme, but to be honest, that's insane. This was such an unbelievable backlash. She was then fired by Disney for this post. Right? Recognize what happened to Rachel Zegler. Nothing happened to her. They ended up caving in every time she went through shit. They caved to her. And Gina Carano was immediately fired, and now she's suing them. So I wanted to show you some interesting things. Why was Gina Carano fired from Disney? Well, the reason why she was fired from Disney was because a series of controversial social media posts. The decisive factor was an Instagram post where she compared the treatment of modern-day conservatives in the U.S. to the persecution of Jews during the Holocaust, which is exactly what I showed you. That was the tweet that got her fired. She is now suing Disney. Disney doesn't want to deal with any of that shit, obviously. Now, the double standard is crazy. People like Rachel Zegler thrive on divisiveness, and they keep their jobs, but Gina Carano lost her entire job for calling out hostile tribalism, which is just completely true. Literally completely accurate and true. Now, the thing is, 3 years ago, turns out Rachel Zegler actually sent her fans to bully Gina Carano over the boop, bop, beep pronouns thing, right? She made a joke about how her pronouns are boop, bop, beep or whatever. So what did Rachel Zegler do? She literally called her fans to harass her. Gina just called Rachel out as a lying hypocrite after she tweeted, "I hope the world becomes kinder." Dude, right? Here's the boop, bop, beep. I hope the world becomes kinder, which is, by the way, such a cringe virtue signaling bullshit, right? And this is the founds. Do not make fun of pronouns. They are not a joke. Pronouns are validating. Pronouns are cool. I put pronouns in your bio. I wear my pronouns on a button sometimes. It's a good thing. Bye. And then her entire audience went to actually harass Gina Carano. Like, these are all in response to Rachel Zegler. She directly sends her fucking audience to rabidly harass Gina Carano for saying beep, boop, bop in regards to pronouns, right? Remember, you have to recognize this is the tolerant left. When someone doesn't agree with an opinion you have or something, that just means you should send psychopathic fans to harass them. 100%. Speaking in droid. I think pronouns are fine if you don't force it. Dude, I personally believe in the freedom of anyone to do whatever the ever-living fuck they want. And that means if you want to have pronouns in the bio, you absolutely can. I might think you're a retard, but that's okay, because who cares what I think? You can do whatever you want. So you can put whatever pronouns you want in your bio or not, all right? I will have my opinions, and you can either respect them or not, all right? I might think you're a retard. You might think I'm a bigot. That's fine. Weaponizing your fan base to harass somebody for having a take that you disagree with is vile shit. Literally vile shit. Unbelievable. Now, the crazy thing is, this is a tweet with 114,000 likes. Hello, Disney. You are going to have to redo your film again because this woman is a pig and you fired Gina Carano for far less than this nonsense. People aren't aware of the amount of backlash Disney is getting right now for the fact that this vile bitch has been allowed to basically say whatever the fuck she wanted on social media about Trump supporters never knowing peace, you know, attaching political movements to her fucking tweets, disregarding what her actual producer tells her to do in regards to virtue signaling in public, having death threats sent to her co-star that she never condemned, where Disney had to pay for extra security for her. I wanted to do a little deeper dive on this, on the actual backlash. Rachel Zegler tried to cancel Gina Carano, Jeremy Renner, J.K. Rowling, and now it appears to have targeted her Snow White co-star Gal Gadot. This is who Disney keeps embracing. I forgot I blocked Gina Carano when she was making fun of pronouns. Good riddance. So I wanted to just wrap up on this incredibly, incredibly wholesome thought. Her career is over, and we all contributed to that. Isn't this nice? I think this is nice. We all contributed to that shit. Hell yeah. Shout out to us, the retards, fighting for justice. Us retards fighting for justice every single day we can. Hell yeah, dude. Frick yeah, baby. Endless retard jutsu. There's so many of them. What, people told me I have to watch this? Wait, there's more? They made more parodies on this shit.
Snow White and the Seven Dwarves need to lay off the liquor.
Bro, they literally made a film theory about this?
Yeah, the Seven Dwarves might have a little bit of a drinking problem. I mean, just look around their cottage and you'll see tons of beer steins scattered about. Every single one of their eccentric traits can be attributed to famous side effects of alcohol. Happy and grumpy or happy and angry.
The film theory is that they're all actual drunks. Well, I don't know. If I was around this Snow White, I would
Now-
be too. Unbelievable. Wait, Asmongold reacted to this? Oh my god, dude. It doesn't end. It doesn't end! This is a glorious downfall. Glorious downfall. I love downfalls so much. They're so nice. Downfalls are so fun. They make me warm and cuddly and bubbly on the inside. You know, sometimes when you think that everyone left you and everyone's abandoning you, no.
Why they not like
Downfalls
Snow
will be there
White?
for
The
you.
reason why is that the actress that plays Snow White, she acts like a bitch all the time.
True.
I'm a narcissist. Original cartoon came out in 1937,
Yeah.
and very evidently so.
I was.
There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her. Yeah. Weird.
Yeah.
Weird. That people will
Oh my
assume it's a
God.
love story just because, like, we cast a guy in the movie. Andrew Burnap. All of Andrew's scenes could get cut. Who knows? Hollywood, baby. We absolutely wrote a Snow White that is
Not gonna be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be.
I just don't understand how your story about feminist empowerment is everything was great when a man was controlling the kingdom.
I made that exact point. I'm so happy more people are recognizing this. I love this so much. Oh God, I love it.
Woman takes over, the kingdom goes to shit.
Literally. The kingdom was great when a man was ruling, a woman took over, and everything failed. Listen, this is a glorious feminist empowerment story. Weird.
She kicks out the younger woman because she's jealous about it. And then the younger woman goes to another man's house and cleans up all their houses. And this is the story about feminist empowerment? It's like some kind of sick joke. Are you the fairest of them all? Oh, God.
Oh, no.
I don't even know what the fuck this
No,
is.
dude,
Is this the
that's not from the real movie. No.
actual
no
image?
way.
Is this actually from the show,
Wait,
the
no,
movie?
no.
I don't know how the fuck you let this happen, man. I really don't.
Oh no! Oh no!
Oh my, Vance to your face, it is.
Yeah. Weird.
Yeah, weird indeed. True, real, based. Holy shit, that's crazy. Oh my god. Anyway, a wonderful day for me specifically. And then apparently she went on to Instagram to say #1 movie in the world because she is such an unbelievable narcissist. #1 movie in the world, guys. Guys, it's not the #1 movie in the world. It actually is the worst movie in the world. But anyway, that's what we're calling it. I'm done here. Hell yeah, dude. That was fun. Shout out to Gina Carano. Shout out to Rachel Zegler making content for me. Hell yeah. Shout out to Infinite Content Jutsu. The more retards there are, the better my content will become. Hell yeah. Lock in for more retard content. Nux, you've been winning nonstop for years. Are you tired? It's not easy to have energy like I do to keep winning. But that's why I would like to remind you that my latest video on Johnny Somali was absolutely demonetized and it's incredibly demoralizing, and definitely support me on Patreon, which is linked in my description, okay? I have to make money off the retards to keep making fun of more retards. We are in this together. This is a symbiotic relationship. You fund me to make fun of retards. Everyone wins, except for the retards. But to be honest, I don't really care about them that much. Bye. Like, subscribe, and this video was streamed live on kick.com/Nuxanor. See you there. Stay weird, fam.